When you drive up to Shaw High School, one of the roads you turn on is Raider Way. Those words are more than just an address. It was a mindset that made Shaw High School a powerhouse.
Wolver, everybody in tight. Second man, that's Jenkins. No question about it. Touchdown for the Raiders.
At the turn of the 21st century, the Shaw Raiders won the Class 4A state championship with a dominant win over Statesboro in Kinnett Stadium. And throughout the early 2000s, the Raiders were a staple in the playoffs. It's a legacy that still resonates today.
You would have to be living under a rock, if you're around our age, to not know what Shaw brought and what Shaw was in the past and what it stood for. And yes, I'm very knowledgeable of the heritage and the guys that came through here. My brother was one of those guys. He graduated in 2004, so he was on the state championship team. So he flashed his ring to me still, every now and then. But those guys were honestly like my superheroes.
Well, under center, pitching it left side, straight ahead. Jenkins roughed up by the Raiders. They say they have a fumble.
The Raiders reached a point of dominance that Shaw's intimidation happened before kickoff, and simply Shaw defined success on the gridiron.
You name it, the school that they went to. I had a friend at every school, and every single one of them, when you play them, varsity football, they'd say, from the time we came out on the field clapping, just kind of doing our opening warm-ups, they were scared. And it was the place to be. We're a powerhouse football team under Coach Flowers.
You went there if you wanted to win. And during the years I was there and the years before, Shaw dominated the whole city. I don't know the number record, but from 2000 to 2008, 2009, it was a lot to a little as far as wins and losses.
He's got a convoy, folks. Great house, 84 yards.
The way that we produce and the way that we won, it was in such a dominant fashion. So we had close games here in and here out, but the amount of goose eggs we put up that year, the dominant fashion that we played throughout the playoffs and in the state championship, it won't never be duplicated.
Leading the way for the Raiders, legendary head football coach Charles Flowers, a man that was known for instilling discipline, the importance of preparation, and dedication to the team and players. In fact, many former Raiders still rely on those lessons to this day.
If there were any gaps that my father did leave, he was one to fill those gaps. Growing up as a teenager, you don't always share everything with your parents. You keep some things hidden. But we had Coach Flowers, to open up to. And so not just only being a football coach to us, he was a father figure.
Been happily married for over 10 years. And I've had a successful Air Force career the past 12 years, plan on, Lord willing, continuing that. The stuff that Coach Flowers taught us is still implemented in my mind today. I use it day in and day out. So you're talking whenever you put forth any effort, get it your best, always give 100%.
So now I'm actually an environmental law attorney, and some things I like to think about is that our defense coach, Coach Alton Pitts, just how meticulous he was with film preparation. I try to take that actually into my trial preparation.
Every time I lace up, I always think about, hey, if you slacking, either you're gonna run heels or somebody gonna take a spot. Pride on discipline, because if you don't have no discipline, you don't win.
Of course, with that much success in the 2000s, there was plenty of love for the silver and black around the city.
Low key, it felt like we were celebrities. People that you didn't know, you walk through the mall, they know your name, and then, people from other schools and other football teams, the respect that they showed, it was a great time to be a Shaw Raider.
Just going around the city, people took care of you if you were a Shaw Raider. My barber actually gave me free haircuts for every interception I had. So he watched every Friday night game, look at the newspaper, say, oh, free haircut coming every Saturday morning.
The wins and the success and recognition did not come easy. If you played for the Raiders, you understood the definition of hard work and dedication, because two-a-days were just half of the Shaw workload.
Early morning, late morning, special teams, and then we had a team practice at the end in the evening. Yeah.
But Marcellus, I thank you for getting that one practice. If you get in trouble or you mess up at practice, you got to run heels in the graveyard at 3 a.m.
What do you call it? The graveyard shift. You know, you had to go run in the middle of a graveyard at camp, you know, at 4 a.m. It was just crazy. But transition to baseball, same way. You know, he demanded the best out of everybody, and you had to give him 110% or you wouldn't be playing.
Being a freshman and walking into the Shaw U, you know, it was tough. You know, it's an eye opener walking in. You're like, all right, I gotta get my stuff together because these guys ain't gonna let me slack off. I gotta grow up fast. I remember the Steve Jacobs and the Emmanuel Dudleys. They didn't hold no slack on me. So growing up fast and being a part, we always talk about the model. The culture being up here and everybody else is below the culture. So just being a small part of a big process and a big culture and doing my role, knowing my role.
While their playing days are behind them now, there are no graveyard shifts to answer. No more snaps to be played for the silver and black. These Raiders can still trace their foundation for being good people back to Shaw.
You see a lot of people that graduate from Shaw under that flower tree. Like a lot of us are successful with like just whatever avenue that we're doing because that hard work was instilled in us. You see what I'm saying?
But still, when I think of football, I think of Shaw High School. Just, you know, the summer camps, the workouts, all the time and the dedication, the film. And it's incredible to compare that at the collegiate level and even the NFL level because our heart and soul was poured into that. And, you know, day in and day out, it was a brotherhood and we were going to give our best and we didn't want to look left or right and say that we didn't.
It shaped who I am today, a very large part, you know, outside of family and, you know, religion and faith. Shaw High School Raider football was just an ultimate test in a young man's life in character building, forcing you to really look inside yourself and the man next to you and to, you know, be able to depend on that person and that person depending on you. Man, it's everything, you know, that you would want to bring into life as an adult.